Good morning. Apologies for the slightly late start. As usual, we're having technical difficulties, snow on the line somewhere around Driffield. Welcome to the first session of DDD21 this morning. I'm really pleased that we've got Henk Boelman with us this morning. So without further ado, I'm just going to hand the stage to him. Henk, over to you.
Yes, thank you so much. And hi, everyone, and welcome to my session, Accessible Events, Accessible Experiences. I hope you can all see my screen, you can see me. In this 45 minutes, I'm going to talk to you about how you can build accessible experiences with AI. So my name is Henk Boelman, Cloud Advocate at Microsoft. But before we start, did you know you can follow this session in more than 100 languages with just going to this website below? So before we start, let me show you how you can do that. So if you are running in a conversation or something, you can use our Microsoft Translator. You can create preset events. I've done that for DDD. This is the event code. I hit start. And now everything, I have to click the button. Microphone stays on, mute everyone else. So now everything I say is being typed here for me. And you can log in as an attendee, select your own language, and then it will actually translate it for you in that language. And you can even have the option that it will read that for you in the voice of your own language. So now you can follow me in whatever language you want. So I will leave this on and hope my internet will make it. So go to this link, translate.it/DHAJA to follow this presentation in your language. So, hi everyone and welcome again. My name is Henk Boelman, Cloud Advocate at Microsoft. I'm very happy to be here. You can follow me on Twitter. I have a GitHub where you can find all these code samples back. And of course, I have a blog with a lot of more stories about how to do accessibility and how you can do some AI stuff. In this session, we're going to talk about AI building blocks to make your application more accessible. But why? Why do we want to do that? Why do we want to make our application accessible? So the first one is quite obvious. There are about 1 billion people worldwide with disabilities that can actually profit from and use your application, or maybe at the moment not use your application. So this is a very large group of people that you definitely want to include in everything you do and everything you create. So that is, we have to cater for people with visual disabilities, like if they're colorblind or even blind. Hearing, hard of hearing, or even deaf, like the translator API we're using. Cognitive, speech, mobility, neural, and sometimes some diseases can span like multiple disabilities. And when we're talking about disability, in the older days and even now, we mostly say that it's like a personal health condition, but actually, disability is a mismatch between human interactions. Disability is a mismatch between someone's ability and the way an environment is set up. So it is actually that we are creating that problem. Because wheelchairs don't really make a building inaccessible. The stairs do, or like bad design we see here on this image. And even maybe one more important, you might not have a disability now, but we're all going to be disabled someday. And it would be nice if I'm 80 years and I can still use all my application. And some just beat you to it. I really like that quote. So for me, if I look at accessibility, it is the design of products, services, and environments so that everyone, including people with disabilities, can fully experience them. Not have like a second kind of layer in it, no, fully experience them. And if you design for disability, like the first audiobooks were there in 1930 and they were invented for blind people, it's now a better experience for everyone. So quick thing, some features in Teams actually were invented for disabilities, like immersive reader for dyslexia. The blurred background was born for deaf people, so they could actually focus more on the face of the people. Captions and translations for deaf and other languages. Video recorders for people that cannot attend actually meeting. And the hand up and emoji is just a good thing for all. So today we're going to look at some AI service that will help you make sense of the world around you through computer vision and through speech recognition. So let's have a look at what is available on Azure to do those kind of things. So our first layer are the Azure Applied AI services. And that is things like video analyzer, Azure bot services. So these are applications built on top of our Azure cognitive services for language, vision, decision, and speech. So these are the raw API services that you can send data to and get data back. And if you want to do it yourself from scratch, you can use Azure Machine Learning to do that. So today we will focus on these building blocks to create our own services. So we have vision, speed, language, and knowledge. So there is vision to make your application see, speech to make your application talk and listen, language to understand what is being spoken, and knowledge if you want to tap into the brain of the internet. So let's get started with some demos. And feel free to put your questions in the chat, and I will sometimes kind of monitor it to see if there are any. So first, we're going to make sense of the world through vision. I will start with importing a lot of dependencies. We're going to do we always need a subscription fee. So in Azure, you can create these services and you need an endpoint. And then next, what you have to do is create a computer vision client. So everything I'm showing you today is in Python, but there are also SDKs available in Java, C#, or you can just do the raw API calls. But it is kind of neat to show it in Python in a Jupyter notebook that actually runs in our Visual Studio Code. So I'm creating a computer vision client, so I can actually start sending requests to the API. And we'll start with an image with a random photo of streets in Amsterdam. So let's show it. So here some people are chilling on the street, sitting on the couches. But let's see what happens if we send this image to the computer vision API and what it sees. So here is telling us it's seeing people sitting on benches in a city. Now, that is absolutely correct. It is a city, people sitting on wooden benches, okay, some on a stair, but it is kind of fine. So, but then let's go a level deeper and actually see, find out if it can detect like separate things. This was first a description. So let's see if it can tell us where the persons are, where bicycles are. It even can detect like our weird Dutch bicycles here. So it is making more sense now. But sometimes, let me see, I wanted to do this. Yeah, sometimes it just doesn't do a very good job. Like if we want to have a camera on it and detect this banknote, it is actually seeing a person, which is correct, but that is not really what we want. So we have to train this model very specifically for our own objects, and we can do that using the Azure Custom Vision Service. So the Azure Custom Vision Service is a really cool service. You upload a bunch of images to it, you hit it, you tag them, you hit the train button, and it will create a model for you, and that model can be published in an API for you. So you have your own model, but the only thing you have to do is deliver some high quality images. So this service, of course, you create in the Azure portal, you will get your keys. And here I have a folder with some banknotes in it. This is the training data. And here we can see it's a banknote and it's another banknote. So we come to create a training client. And here what we can do is we can specify a domain. So there are a few base models where you're building on top of it. So I'm going to use the general model because that works mostly for it. But if you're going to classify landmarks, well, you might want to choose for this one. You also see a few models that have the word compact behind. And these are smaller models and that give them the ability to be able to export. So you can export them to CoreML, to TensorFlow ES, so that they will actually run on your mobile devices, which is really cool. Creating a new project. We're going to upload all the images. I've already done it. I'm on really crappy internet here, so it took like 5 minutes and nobody wants to wait for that. We train the model. So let me show you a bunch of the data sets. So here are the different classes with all the different types of images. And when the training is complete, we can publish the model. And then when the model is published, we can start sending predictions to the endpoint. So I have a test directory here with some images. So it is picking a random image from every folder here, sending that to the prediction API and giving me back the result. And then it should draw on the image how sure it is that it is which node. So here we see it is doing quite well. It's a 100 node, it's a 200 node, 500 node, 50 node. This one is not doing so well on, but I didn't give it that much training images. So there is also visualize for the custom vision service. So you can do a quick test here, you can browse the images, but you can also add and upload images here. So if we go to performance, we see the iteration that we have trained, and we see already a warning that you need more images to make your model better. So there are a few things you want to take into account when you're doing this. Always have at least 50 images of your objects from different angles and with different lighting and different backgrounds. Because if you always put the image on, always put the object on the same background, it might pick up on your background rather than picking up on your object. So 50 balanced classes, so don't upload 200 images of a 20 node and 50 of a 10 node, then it will not work. Here on the prediction URL, you will see all the details you need to start doing predictions. You can unpublish them and you can publish every iteration. So you can actually compare your models and the outcome of it. So this is a classification project that looks at a wall image and then tells you, hey, I'm like 90% sure on this wall image I'm seeing, it is a 100 node. But you can also create classification object detection projects. They need a lot more images to train. It takes a lot longer to train, but then it can actually tell you where the object is. So if we go to create a new project, you have the option to choose for object detection. And then when you do that, I have a fun Simpsons object detection project. You see, you need a lot more images. So let's go ahead. You have to actually tag where every object is in the image. And then on the predictions, do I have anything here? No, sorry for that. Here you see it takes the classes, they're nicely balanced, but it takes a long time. So when you're doing like a more intensive training, if you click train, you can go for advanced training and then you can say, you can use up 69 hours of training to do that. So this is quickly the custom vision service. We have really cool tutorials on Microsoft Docs where you can learn more about this service. And it is particularly helpful if you want to classify your own objects that are not being detected correctly by the computer vision API, like in this case. So let's move next we have now seen what is on images, but we sometimes want to see who is on the image. So here is our picture where our Prime Minister was still happily cycling on the bike a few years ago, didn't know what was going to happen. So let's run that image through it and start detecting some faces. My internet upload is really crappy, so it'll take a while. We've detected the faces, and now let's actually show it. So here we see it is detected persons, males in this case, and it did a guess of the age. Tells us where the faces are. But if you're faint enough, you might be recognized with your name. So this running, drawing the image. And here we see this is our Prime Minister Mark Rutte. He made it to the database, and here is our staff block, which I never heard of. But yeah, so we probably want to get a little bit more insights about those faces. This was just age and gender and where they are. So we have a face API that can give you more information in depth about the face and about the people on the images. Let's create a face client, and we will take this lovely family to train and get some insights about their faces. So this API can describe a lot more. It can do a guess of the age, the gender, if someone is smiling, someone needs to shave, if someone has glasses, emotions, what type of emotions are showing, the hair colors, makeup, accessories. So we will go through all the images and print out all that information. And we actually chop out. Here we have Luke. It's a male, he's smiling, 18 years old, he doesn't have to shave. He's not wearing any eye or lip makeup, no glasses. If we go to this person, Alex, female, she's wearing makeup. Let's see, she is very happy, and she's wearing reading glasses. The cool thing is it can detect differentiate between reading glasses, sunglasses, and swimming goggles. But yeah, now there's still a UID, which is not like the thing to display. So let's train. You can train the Face API to actually recognize these people by giving them some examples. So I have a folder here with photos that are not like the same as on the picture. And we can, here it will show us, here are the photos. So what we can do is we can give these examples, these named examples, to the Face API, and that the Face API will then start recognizing those people on the images. So let's do that. Now just adding Alex to the group. So basically what you do is you create a person group. In that person group, you create persons, and every person you can add photos of their face. So you can add like multiple photos of a person, so your model will be better. But one is enough to do the general trick. So now we have added it. Now we have to train it. The group, it takes seconds if you have a small amount of images. And now we can actually start identifying the people on the image. So here we see it is found these people. And the last one we will show the names now. Here, this is Luke, Alex, Haley, and Phil and Claire. So now we can actually see who is there. So we can see what, we can see who, and like how many people there are on the image. So really useful information for someone that is having a visual disability. But yeah, we also probably want to be able to read text. So here, let's have a look at this banner from our CEO and see if we can run that through the Vision API. So there is an OCR function in the Vision API, and what it can do is it can actually extract all the text and actually tell us where all these lines are on the image, which is really cool. But not everyone can type that well. So what about if someone wants to analyze handwriting? That is also possible. You just send it to the same API, and it will also tell you where all the lines are and what it is actually saw on those lines, actually the text. So this is what I wanted to show you about Vision. I will quickly check if there are any questions. I don't think so. So what have we seen? We have seen the computer vision API that can describe images, detect objects, detect faces, detect celebrities. There is custom vision, where you can train your own model on a data set of your own images to tell you, like, hey, if it is not available, if the object is not detected with the computer vision, you can do that. There's a face API that it can describe faces, train your own personal face group with your own people and identify persons in an image. So the next thing I want to show you is how we can make sense of the world around us through speech. So this is different API, also create this endpoint in Azure. So let's go to it. So we're going to play around with the sentence accessibility empowers everyone. You can need a key and a service region, and you need to create a new speech configuration, and then we can actually start speaking out. So we have the sentence up here, and we're going to use a voice. We're going to use Hazel, the normal default voice. So let them say the
accessibility empowers everyone. Accessibility and inclusion are essential to delivering our mission to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more.
So that sounded okay, but still a little bit robotic. So there are now those new neural voices that actually sound a lot better. Let's listen.
Accessibility empowers everyone. Accessibility and inclusion are essential to delivering our mission to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more.
So that last one sounded really a lot better. But what is really cool is that in real time, you can actually get yourself translated. Accessibility empowers everyone. So what we're doing here is we're creating a new translation configuration. We're setting the base language to English, and then we can add a target language. So I'm saying Dutch here. And then starting listening, and it is printing the result. So I was saying accessibility empowers everyone, and then in Dutch it translates this, which is actually correct. But we can also do it in multiple languages, output it in multiple languages, and then actually synthesize those translations back into a neural voice. And that can be done real time. And that is actually how this, this translator API is working. Accessibility empowers everyone. You see here the language files being generated. We can use VLC player.
Accessibility empowers everyone. Toegankelijkheid stelt iedereen in staat. 可访问性赋予每个人权利。
So that is super cool that it can actually do that. And you saw how quick that went. So the next thing I want to talk to you about are services, are AI services that apply like those AI building blocks that we just saw. So we're definitely especially going to look at Azure Media Services and Video Analyzer. So Azure Media Service is a service that can produce accessible streams, and there is video analyzer that can actually make sense of videos. So I hope it works. My internet connection is like really crappy here, but I want to try and see if we can actually do a demo of Azure Media Services. So you go to the Azure portal and create an Azure Media Service endpoint, a media service endpoint. And then in that media service endpoint, you can start creating live streams. And the cool thing about these live streams is that we can actually caption those, caption the live stream in, I think, 10 languages at the moment. So we go to live stream and we're going to add a new event. DDD. Let's do 1080p encoding. Yeah. RTMP ingest. Just generate a host name. It may be able to start the event. I have the rights to do this. And then under advanced, we can say enable live transcription. And then we can select, here are the languages. We can even do it in Dutch. We select English, United States. You can have a low latency mode. You can set input restriction on who is able to stream. So this is good for us now. So we're going to create it. See, our event is starting up. Click on it. It's running. It is actually billing us now. And here is our input URL. But before we are going to do that, we're going to stream it up and we're going to use a restream. To actually try and start to stream something. I've never done it with Restream. I normally use OBS or vMix on my local machine, but I don't have enough bandwidth to do that. Yeah, that is me. We don't want to have that. I'm going to add a destination, a custom RTMP. The last bit is the streaming key. We don't need authentication, so I'll just add this custom RTMP channel. DDD test, save it, and that should be not now. Don't save it, please. This one is on, so it is only going to this destination. If we hit go live, nice countdown for us. We're going to check, play a local video. Put it here.
Okay, we good. Ian, we good. Okay.
Okay, we hear the sound. I will mute it here. Let's see if our stream is actually getting into it. Reload the player. It is always like 20 seconds behind. So here we are. It must not have that much frames because I only have one Mbit upload here. So the next thing we do is we create an output. So let's hope I can send enough frames and enough of the audio that we will have some live transcriptions. So done. This is the endpoint we're going to use. We can reload this player here. I will actually, this must be low quality, right? Yeah, let's put this on the lower quality. We want to monitor this output, apply. So we can have around 1700 viewers on this at 3.5 Mbit. So here are our two streams. But now we can use Azure Media Player to actually play this. So what we will do is we will add a caption track. we call it English, and you have to put the correct locale. We say update player. And here we see
That changed the world.
that it is very poor quality, but that's because of my internet.
Hello everyone, and welcome to our talk, The Age of Applied AI. AI is going to take a huge impact in everybody's daily life, embedded in everything we do. And this talk is really about where we came from and emphasizing that.
So this is how easy, I want to say, how you can use Azure Media Service to real-time caption your event. And the good thing is that the pricing of this is only around $5 an hour. So Azure Media Service, we're going to end the stream now, because hopefully this all came through. Well, moving this, stopping the live studio. And we're finally going to stop the event here. So Azure Media Services is really great for streaming an event with live captions. The next thing is when you have made a video and you want to make it more accessible, you can use Azure Video Analyzer for media. You go to videoindexer.ai, log in with your Microsoft account, get a free trial. And what this tool can do is can give you all kind of really cool insights about your videos. So let's see.
Floor, I'm a woman in my 30s. I have blonde short hair.
So we can caption it.
And I'm wearing a gray sweater with a dinosaur on it.
But now the cool thing is that we can change the language. Say, let's do it in Danish or Danish. It will translate all the captions for me. Of course, I have to log in again, because we have to keep things secure. And that worked.
Hey, my name is...
So try to. Let's do it to check this time. You see that it has translated everything to check, but now I'm also able to select check captions.
Floor, I'm a woman in my 30s. I have blonde short hair and I'm wearing a gray sweater with a dinosaur on.
And I can download these captions, so I can upload them to YouTube or to any other video provider. I can also download them, edit them a little bit if there are mistakes in. Here's a timeline. I will put it back to English so it makes sense for us. So here's the timeline with what people all the time saying. You can actually switch to those points.
They won't understand why.
You can set the captions back here. So that is one thing.
How many different races?
It can also detect who is in the images. So if we go for Adam, we will actually find them in these parts of the video. We can say play next, and we can move to another one.
So I certainly feel included.
It's also trying to tell us what this video is about health, medicine, healthcare, blindness, audio effects, exact keywords, labels. It's cutting out scenes for us. It's trying to detect scenes, tells people's emotion, classifies the emotions of people. Like, let's see who is scared, or see who is actually happy or sad.
Gain knowledge. I became very frustrated.
We talk about cities, about Europe, London, Netherlands, so all kind of cool insights you're getting from it. And one of the nice things is that all that information is available through an API. So if you're building a system, you can just let people upload videos, run the captions on it, extract those captions, add your translations, cut your chapters out, add some text, and do really cool things with this service. So that brings me to the end of our presentation. But before we do that, I'm going to close off with a few things, because everything we saw today, like all these APIs, I give like great power to make sense of the world around you. And one of the cool things is that Microsoft has then made is the Seeing AI app. And this app makes sense of the world around us. So it can detect banknotes. It can tell you if you hold it in front of you what it sees. It can tell you, hey, there are 5 people in the room. They're all looking very pissed at you, or they're all looking very happy at you. It really helps you navigate the world. I don't think I have enough bandwidth to play the video, but definitely go to microsoft.com/AI/seeing AI to learn more about this great application. So I want to leave you with a few things before I set you off. So I want you to start asking questions. Especially as software developers, you have to start asking yourself questions like, who am I building my applications or my products for and with? Bring people with disabilities to the design phase, and not only invite them to test your products. Also ask yourself, who can experience this? Can a deaf person experience what I'm doing? Can a blind person experience what I'm doing? People with limited mobility. Some really simple and easy things you can actually do right now to make things more accessible. So always, if we're developing a website, just add a small piece of alt text. It works. Captions. We've seen how easy it was to add captions to a live stream using Azure Media Service. Provide transcripts of your meeting so people can read the transcript afterward. Make recordings. Use the accessibility checker, accessibility insights. It's just a plugin in Chrome. It can just give you a fast pass or does a big assessment on your website. And what we see here on the left, PowerPoint has an accessibility checker. Accessibility investigated will actually tell you what you have to fix, and also tell you about contrast and text. The contrast for your background colors and your text. Can anyone actually read it? Check your reading orders. Provide alternative text for your images. And what I'm unintentionally excluding. Try to look how you can include everyone. As well, add sign language to your video production. Provide a transcript afterwards. Maybe don't use slides. Just tell a story. Make sure that everyone has a way to participate in what you're doing. So, are accessibility features and accommodations available for everyone? That's what you should ask. Like, you can let people ask you, how is there a sign language interpreter at this conference? Oh, is that wheelchair accessible? No. If you're running an event, just put on the top of your website accessibility requirements, list what you have done, and invite people to talk to you about it so you can make your event more accessible and accessible for everyone. So it's always like how it works with software. Ask, learn from feedback, and then do better next time. So the more inclusive you are, the more innovative you can be. So thank you for your attention in this morning. All resources and scripts are available on ak.ms/henk/accessible-AI. And if you want to leave feedback about this session, go to ak.ms/accessibility-fb. So thank you all. I will now stop sharing my screen and hear if there might be any questions.
Henk, we are directing people to the Discord channel for this session for questions rather than
Okay, perfect.
in here, so they
Then I will
can
open
interact
a
with you
Discord.
directly. And again, apologies for slight technical issues at the top of the session. Hopefully we're all resolved for the rest of the day now, the perils of going first.
I hope so too, for you. So let me see.
So those listening, if you want to join on the Discord channel and into the channel for this session, welcome to Building Accessible Experiences with AI. Hopefully Henk will be there to answer any questions you may have. And once again, thank you all for joining us. I hope the rest of the day is great for all of you. Hope you can join some more of our sessions later today. And thanks so much, Henk, not just for your patience this morning, but for a very interesting session.
Thank you. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the day. I will be in Discord.
Thank you. I will now end the session. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect.